enthusiasts, the evangelists out there, their blogs. This is us kind of going out there over the last 7 days, usually around the last 7 days, and finding the latest news across their blogs. So what are we talking about this week? SharePoint and OneDrive Security Compliance Migration Admin and Server Ignite 2019 announcement. What's new? We have a lot of share across numerous announcements shared on Ignite 2019. Find these in 4 main categories: migration, security, SharePoint Admin Center innovation, and new SharePoint Server offerings in Azure. So for migration, that's right, Microsoft did acquire Mover. When was that? Recently, okay. And what they're going to do is use that technology to help you be able to, sort of out of the box, be able to migrate things on your own. So Mover supports migration from over a dozen cloud service providers, including Box, Dropbox, Ignite, Google Drive, all into OneDrive and SharePoint. So now, I'm assuming this is going to go into the SharePoint migration tool. Let's see here. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. If it gets into the SharePoint migration tool, what that means is that you're now going to be able to, on your own, use this tool to migrate off of those platforms into your Office 365 and your SharePoint, your OneDrive spaces, without needing to pay a partner and all that. So here's a good look at the UI from within Mover, the app that they acquired. Not sure how that's going to look when it gets Microsoft branded, or if it's going to, but we'll see. Here's a look at how that worked, though. So you could move from Google Drive, right, source path, Google Drive, to destination path, OneDrive. What's this? Migration Manager. Now, a key part of the SharePoint Admin Center helps orchestrate and simplify management of large-scale migrations. Admins can add and manage multiple migration machines to centrally orchestrate all those activities. Okay. SharePoint Migration Tool now supports SharePoint Server 2010 on premises. Whoop. 100 gigabyte file uploads. Let no big file go unuploaded. This playlist is killing me today. So they've been adjusting numerous limits, right, since the beginning of these cloud offerings. That seems like the limits are just continuing to rise due to the growth and usage, for sure. Now you can bring larger files, so up to 100 gigs. And I think this is just for OneDrive, if I'm not mistaken. OneDrive Sync, especially differential sync when actively working with large files, and a continuous focus on overall performance throughout the lifecycle of a file, from upload to download to use and edit. Go big. If I'm not mistaken, OneDrive... Oh, it does say SharePoint. I don't know. I saw a post this morning that said OneDrive got 100 gig and SharePoint went up to 50, but maybe I'm wrong there. Security. SharePoint and OneDrive secure and compliant for your data and people. What do we got here? Last Ignite, we introduced how sensitivity labels help make it easy to protect and govern your business critical data, and how multi-geo capabilities help you meet data residency compliance needs. This Ignite, we're announcing major milestones in our labels journey and compliance controls. We're excited to announce public preview of sensitivity labels for sites, groups, and teams, and sensitivity labels with protection from files. All right. Sensitivity labels for Teams, Office 365 groups, and SharePoint sites. Cool. What else? I was trying to get to the next topic here. Where is it? Here's an information barrier. You can see they're applying a label there. Is that right? Information barrier as applied to a SharePoint document library here on PowerPoint file. Got it. SharePoint auto classification. There you go. Sensitivity labels. Information barriers. Automatic expiration of external users' access. SharePoint Admin Center innovation. Here we go. New SharePoint Admin Center homepage. What are you showing here? SharePoint file activity report, a SharePoint site usage report, service health, sensitivity labels, root site swap, now a task within the SharePoint Admin Center. It can't be yet, right? Because I don't see it in there yet. Where do I find that? In active sites? Interesting. I haven't seen that. I was just in there today in a targeted tenant. Improved edit panel to manage site settings. Okay. A little larger, right? Got the sort of like when you're editing a team in Office 365, looks something like that too. An Office 365 group as well. Modern Term Store and Term Analytics dashboard. This is going to be so awesome. So if you guys didn't hear, the Term Store is getting some sweet, sweet love. I'm still using it heavily on the projects I'm currently working on, and this new UI is going to be amazing. You can see that screenshot there. Let me see. Any bigger? No. So the new experience within the SharePoint Admin Center offers an enhanced set of analytics and makes it easier to manage your company's taxonomy and content types. Whoop. Within that Term Store Analytics, view insights related to the Term Store to see the breakdown of regular and managed terms, general use of terms across your sites and apps, and any additional management suggestions to ensure healthy, useful managed metadata. Term Store composition, they got like 18,000 terms. Term Store operations, 512 in 60 days. Terms without synonyms, open and closed term sets, just some of the charting that they're showing there on the analytics. They increased the site collection limit, 2 million site collections per tenant. Can you imagine managing 2 million site collections? I haven't been on an instance that large. SharePoint Server 2019 in Azure Stack. Create consistent experiences across your hybrid cloud using comprehensive Azure cloud capabilities to reduce complexity and risk. Plus leverage new tools and services designed to work across your blah, blah, blah. Today we're announcing support for deploying SharePoint Server 2019 on Azure Stack, giving customers the ability to choose to run a private cloud in their own data centers while leveraging Azure management tools. SharePoint Server 2016 and 2019 templates with the Microsoft Azure Marketplace. Nice. All right. There we go. That was a good post. 4 ways to tag folders with metadata in SharePoint. Heck yeah. I'm probably using all of these currently on my projects. What's the problem with folder metadata? If your document library has custom metadata columns and you try and tag the file, you get a document information panel where you can assign metadata to the file. Truth. Then, however, if you try to do the same to a folder, right, you can't tag folders with metadata. There are a few cool workarounds, though, that'll help you tag folders with metadata in SharePoint, which each with their own pros and cons. So here's the options. Quick edit. So you can and quick edit. I didn't know that. Okay, you can now tag folders with metadata. Click, all right, pros allows you to tag those folders with metadata, allows users to filter the folders with metadata just like files. The cons, folder metadata does not propagate to the files underneath. Okay, didn't expect that. Related to the above, you could have one metadata value at the folder level and completely different metadata at the file level below it. Okay, that could be confusing, true. Custom content types. So another way to tag folders with metadata is to create a custom content type based on folders. So instead of the regular folder, you will be tagging a new custom content type we will create. Here is how to do that. So you go to Site Information, View All Site Settings, click on Site Content Types, Create button. Create a name for your folder content type. You just base it off of that base type. And then, yeah, you add it to your list. Boom. Okay. That's one way. Let's get through that. I get it. I get it. Pros allows you to tag folders with metadata, allows users to filter folders with metadata, just like the files. Cons, a bit of elaborate setup. Yeah, that's true. You have to create all new folders via this custom content type. All right. Just like with option 1, folder metadata does not propagate to the files underneath. Got it. Well, hello there, Ms. Robinson. Sinks. I've been fighting the Musica all afternoon. Just hasn't been up to my taste today. Column default volume settings. Yep, we've been using the heck out of this at the current projects I'm on. This is where you literally go in and map every folder in your library to use specific metadata. Anytime an item is uploaded to that folder, it gets that metadata applied to it. Let's see if the cons align with my cons. Technically not folder level metadata, but close to the concept. All the numerous cons I listed. All right, so the biggest issue I see here is that I'm trying to remember now. It just drew a blank. What was it? It was the it only applies the metadata on file upload. I can't trigger an item change for a particular file. Let's say I uploaded a file according to their screenshot into the contracts folder. Right? The first time I upload it, that metadata gets applied to all the columns. But then if, let's say you have existing files already in there prior to you setting this up, there's no way to trigger that metadata to then be applied to those files. It only occurs, I believe, during initial document upload. So that was one thing. I thought I was going to be able to create like a trigger column, run a workflow, and update the metadata, but I just couldn't figure that part out. Couldn't get it to work. So that's one of the downsides for me, was existing libraries was hard to apply that. Let's see, option 4, document sets. Yep. I haven't used document sets in quite some time, but the pros to that, the only legal way to assign metadata to folders in SharePoint is to use document sets. Yeah, metadata are like properties in SharePoint libraries where you can say this document should have this category and should have this whatever document type associated to it. So it's extra information about a document than what's in the document. Don't you dare say anything negative about document sets. They are one of my favorite features in SharePoint. That's funny. That was the con. Okay. All right, let's get through this thing because I am way over on time here. The best way to access SharePoint data from Power BI, SSRS, and other BI tools. Yeah, I'm skipping that one. SharePoint 2016, 2019, and SharePoint Online. Which version of SharePoint Framework should you install? That's probably useful. Take a quick look. If you guys are in the development space against SharePoint, if you're not following Andrew Connell, you definitely need to get there. Let's see here. Which version of the SharePoint Framework should you install? So for SharePoint 2016, you should be using V191 with, okay, that's 2016 with Feature Pack 2. It looks like V191 on all of these, doesn't it? Okay. Special note about 2016 though, there's some gotchas here that you probably need to pay attention to. Yep, check that out if you're doing some custom dev there. Directly from Ignite 2019, all that you need to know about the Intelligent Intranet Roadmap. See what they're saying. What with it? Directly from Ignite, if you are using SharePoint for building an out-of-the-box intranet, or simply using SharePoint for publishing, here's the roadmap that you should read. Okay. Available soon. Here we go. SharePoint home sites for web and mobile. Yeah, super stoked about those. The hubs, you're going to have hub join approval and bulk hub association in the admin center. That one's available now. Make a classic team site a comm site. That's pretty cool. Going to be able to convert those. That means you're going to be able to use that lookbook potentially to apply any of those themes to any sites because it could possibly do the conversion for you. Where currently you can't apply a communications site template from the lookbook to an existing team site. It needs to be a communications type site. Site scripts and site designs. Extract a site to a site script, including multiple lists, branding, and navigation using PowerShell. Audience targeting for news and pages, modern page authoring. So you're going to have wiki linking, undo and redo. Branding, you're going to get shy header, extend footer, and SharePoint mobile app branding. And then early next year, we got a whole slew of things coming. Page scheduling, audience targeting for navigation, multilingual publishing, blah, 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 blah. Lots of stuff coming next year. Top of mind, custom fonts, global tenant navigation. Oh, that's going to be epic. All right. That's actually something I need to pass up the chain here. Further integrations into Microsoft Teams and calendar experiences in SharePoint. Finally. Yeah, that calendar experience, man, I'm fighting that right now. Today, I was fighting that. Need a modern way to display 30-day view of a calendar without having to go out and buy a third-party product. Now, third-party products will always be able to provide more functionality and extension to that capability, but there needs to be some way to do that in a modern page. All right, so skipping that song. Content collaboration through Microsoft 365 or announcements. What do we got in there? Bringing data and documents to life with SharePoint lists and libraries. Okay, making it easier to bring SharePoint content into Teams. What are they saying here? Expanded view, lists and libraries. This is a fun one to get started with. It's subtle and powerful, a feature that gives you more visual space to see and dig into data. We're introducing the ability to expand lists to fill the screen. Nice. Oh, that's going to be awesome. Another thing I was just talking about with the customer today. Why do we have all this wasted white space? Okay, maybe that'll help. Power Apps integration with SharePoint libraries. Ooh. We've had Power Apps integrated into SharePoint list for a while now, and we're excited today to show Power Apps integration with SharePoint document libraries. So now citizen developers configure and customize default document library forms with built-in Power Apps. Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. Conditional formatting rule builder UI with new rich text capabilities. That's awesome too. So I think right now you've got a pretty basic conditional formatting tool in your list, but this looks like we're going to be able to take that further and do some more advanced things with it. We can color code your data based on conditions. Alternate row view formatting. Provide a cleaner, more visual view of your documents and data with column formatting that alternates every other row. Click into Format View, select your color preference for odd and even rows, and watch it take effect in real time. Alright. SharePoint list and library web parts consume dynamic data. Yeah, that's one I'm super stoked about, because that means we're going to be able to build these dynamic pages that are feeding each other content and updating. You'll be able to configure web parts to give or get their property values from other web parts, including updating those values based on what's selected. Awesome. Looking forward to that. SharePoint team sites and Microsoft Teams. So we're going to be able to add Microsoft Teams to your site. You're going to be able to teamify a site. That's what I need right now, actually. I need all this stuff right away. It's all stuff that we're talking about with customers on like today. We're pleased to announce that we're making it even easier to bring your SharePoint content into Teams in the same motion of adding Microsoft Teams to your site. Yeah, I need to, well, yeah. You can add a team to your existing group connected SharePoint site with one click today. We wanted to share that we are building a new, more intuitive way to do the same directly from SharePoint. That's awesome. All right, cool. What else we got? Content, nope, did that. Direct from Ignite, the SharePoint lookbook. If you guys haven't seen the lookbook, it's really, really good looking now. I mean, it was decent before, but now it's really solid. And it's got a new URL, lookbook.microsoft.com. At least that URL is new to me. I was using the SharePoint lookbook.azure websites or something like that. So here's what it looks like now. You got home site, you got all this stuff on here. So if we go down to the bottom, oh, that's the PDF. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to look at. Here's the actual site. So here's the site. You can come down here. There's 4 tabs that will organize this so that you can... I gotta change this song too. A little heavy, right? A little heavy and angry for a Friday. There we go. So anyways, you got 4 tabs of different types of sites, templates that you can use here in the lookbook. You got organization type sites, you've got department sites, you got team sites, and community type sites. So, you know, we use the team site one quite often for just default rollouts to show capabilities. So if I click on one of those, you can see here, nice screenshot of the way that it's going to set that site up. You can apply these to existing sites. There's been a couple of instances where I could not do that, but for the most part, I've been able to successfully. One of the key parts of this, though, is that it tells you what it's going to do. So over here on the left side, you've got site features. These are kind of the major features that come with this theme. And then it lists the web parts that are used in this particular template and the content that it's going to create. So it's actually going to go to your site. If it doesn't exist, it's going to build the site based on the template it needs. It's going to make sure all these web parts are available to it. It's going to use these features to set it up. And it's going to build a page, and it's going to set all this content up on that page to look just like this. And then you get to do what you want with it. It's just a standard SharePoint site with a new custom page and a bunch of stuff applied to it. It's a good launching point, I think, for a lot of organizations to be able to see that stuff. And sometimes solutions, Megan, what do you mean? I probably skipped right past that. And sometimes solutions, they keep removing it and adding it back. What else? Move with Mover migration. So here's a blog post about that same product that we just talked about, Microsoft acquiring. See if they got any more detail in here about that. No. But this is the podcast link, so you can come here and listen to that if you're interested. You got a little time to listen to something in the background there. You can listen to the details about moving on with Mover. What else? Is custom script dangerous? Good question for all those security-minded individuals. So what are the security implications? Let's see. There are 2 implications stated in MS Docs. Scripts have access to everything the user has access to. Scripts can access content over or across several Office 365 services and even beyond with Microsoft Graph integration. So the risk that user 1, the blue user, intentionally or unintentionally places a script and lets user 2, the red user, run the script by linking to that page that has the script. The page must be in a common place. Okay. Let's have a hackathon, he says. Oh, the learning lookbooks? I see. I got you. Yeah, that's true. The sorry, just coming back to Megan's comments there. The lookbook used to have some options for using Microsoft Learning templates. So it kind of like stood up a learning management system, if you will, on SharePoint and had some base content there. But the new lookbook, at least as far as I've been able to see so far, I have not been able to locate that now. I guess they removed those templates. Kind of a bummer. I was really interested in implementing those and kind of testing them out for some sort of a basic LMS. We could always build our own, but I just thought it'd be nice to templatize that. So I'm not going to go into detail about this post, but it looks like he's got a good technical post there on what those security implications are for using custom scripts in SharePoint. Quick way to upload user photo for making it available through the Graph API. Another dev topic here, I'm sure. Yep, looking at using the Graph API. If you're not familiar with that, that's Microsoft's new API for developing against Office 365, Microsoft 365, whatever you want to call it. And so you're going to be able to reach out to pretty much all those major entities in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem and pull that stuff down. So here he's looking at a quick way to upload user photos. So maybe you're writing a custom app or something like that. You've got a few REST endpoints here that you can use to do that. So write your app. Maybe you're writing a JavaScript application or something. You can include some custom calls here to post a photo to looks like the me/photo or the users with an ID passed into it or some groups, etc. Cool stuff. All right, that's it for top news stories around the blogosphere. I'm way over on time, so we're going to zip through these SharePoint events. A bunch of SharePoint Saturdays coming up. If you haven't been to one, you really got to go. I always say that because the amount of handshaking and networking that goes on in these things is worth more than anything. But the information is also top-notch. Every time I've gone, I've gotten to listen to Susan Hanley talk about information architecture and her experiences, and it's just been a wealth of knowledge. Almost, it's never been bad. So go shake some hands with some MVPs and some Microsoft employees and the other people that are in your area that are interested in SharePoint. Good stuff. So November 14th, first of all, though, we do have a parent-child webinar going on. So I'll be giving a webinar on parent-child. Next Wednesday, we'll be running through the setup of that webinar. So if you're interested, come hang out, watch and chat with me live while we set that webinar up. So that webinar is on the Thursday next week. Then SharePoint Saturdays start. So we got Ahmedabad, Leicester, I think you say that. Is that how you say that? Twin Cities, Lisbon, Bangalore, Munich, not Prague, Oslo, Charlotte, Istanbul. All those SharePoint Saturdays coming up. So, click those links, register for those, go attend. They're usually free, if I'm not mistaken. I've never paid for one. Or have I? I don't know. I usually have to register through Eventbrite, but I don't think it ever costs anything. Even if it was $30, I would definitely pay that to go. Anyways, your SharePoint conference going on in Prague, December 2nd through the 5th. SharePoint Fest going on in Chicago, December 9th through the 13th. SP TechCon in San Fran, February 18th through 21st. I believe we're going to be there for that. Rob Manfredi is going to go and represent us there in San Francisco. So if you're going, look us up, man. He's going to have some swag to hand out. Go shake his hand. We'd love to talk to you. SharePoint Fest coming up in DC, April 13th through the 17th. Definitely want to check into that, get plugged in. And then SharePoint Fest for Seattle, August 24th through the 28th. That's a long ways away, isn't it? August 24th. Anyways. Awesome possum. Thanks, guys, for jumping on today. Sorry it went long. I appreciate it. There was just so much good news around Microsoft Ignite. I'm glad you guys got to partake. This will be on YouTube here momentarily so that you can watch this on demand later, listen to it, whatever. But please feel free to give us some feedback. Come hang out with us next Wednesday, live at noon Eastern. And we'll see you then. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Peace.